Omajnana timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Once Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture in the morning, and many persons were attracted to Srila Prabhupada. Even from the material perspective, even the most beautiful women were attracted to Srila Prabhupada. So one of his disciples, female-bodied, from a material perspective, even also for a transcendentalist, someone who is super spiritually realized, she was stunningly beautiful. In other words, when you see such a woman, you'll immediately get agitated. Immediately. Then you'll realize your fallen position. So she walked into the Srimad Bhagavatam class. As soon as she walked in, Srila Prabhupada's eyes, while speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he followed her, eyes followed. And then she sat down for the class. And when Srila Prabhupada's eyes followed her, everyone could understand that Prabhupada is looking at somebody while speaking. And everyone turned around. Oh, she's the one. And she sat down. Then Prabhupada switched from his regular philosophical points of the class, and he said that you see her body for your sense gratification, but I see her as the soul for Krishna's sense gratification. So we can just imagine the internal state of Srila Prabhupada. We cannot even fathom it. It's such deep when he sees the material bodies in relation to the soul within the body. Of course, here in this particular instance in relation to the demons, they are considered good demons because they are following the etiquette of seeing this young beautiful girl, but they do not want to enjoy prematurely. They want to follow the culture. See? So first they're inquiring from who's your father, who's your mother, which family you come from, and definitely it appears that you are not married. And all of them had the same desire to marry this beautiful girl. So that's culture. See? Although they are demons, but good demons. But we know in the material world there's bad demons. In other words, they don't really care whether you're married or not married. They don't have any culture. They don't really have any culture. So, the good demons are within the bodily conception of life. But at the same time, they have some culture. So when we say dehinusman yata dehe komaran yovanam jara tata dehantara praptis, they know that the body of this beautiful woman is a little different from the person. At the same time, they don't know it's Krishna himself, Mohini Murti. See? So they are blinded by the materialistic consciousness within the culture of, you could say in one sense, human life. Now, animal life in human bodies is no culture. So they could see this beautiful woman, oh, she's alone, that means definitely we can conclude she's not married. See? So they were feeling that way. But indirectly, akama sarva kamava moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Indirectly, this verse tells us in Srimad Bhagavatam, akama, whether you don't have any material desire. Sarva kama, whether you're full of material desire. And moksha kama, in other words, whether you desire to become free from this material world. Yeah. So they are in the category of sarva kama, not karma, kama. They are full of material desire to enjoy. So come and enjoy Krishna in the form of Mohini Murti. So in the beginning stages, even for us, when we leave the material world and when we come into the practices of Krishna consciousness, we come with our baggage. We come with our guna and karma, our nature that determines our consciousness, which determines the type of consciousness that we do an activity, guna and karma. Yeah. So we come with that. See? So in the beginning stages, Krishna traps us to enjoy Krishna consciousness. Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. We don't really come with the idea to serve. We come with the consciousness to enjoy, which is rightfully situated. Because either you're enjoying in the material world and suffering simultaneously, but when you come to Krishna consciousness, you are enjoying Krishna consciousness, but you're becoming purified simultaneously, not to further enjoy, but come to that natural state of serving, not to enjoy. So that may take a while. It may take a few lifetimes even, which is fine. But you are properly situated on the path to become purified, eventually simply to serve. So, Yet the demons wanted to enjoy Krishna in the form of Mohini Murti. Now, the devotees may come with their lower nature to be dovetailed in Krishna conscious activities. But we can't exactly call that demoniac. But it's a kind of lower nature. See? So that kind of lower nature, which the demons have culture in, is like a sense of entering the Grihastha ashram. To become purified of the lower nature, to be situated on the higher nature. Of the sense of enjoying to the sense of coming to serve. That consciousness is there. See? So, we'll kind of give some example. You know, there's a Sakama Karma Yoga and there's also Niskama Karma Yoga. So in essence, in chapter number 3 in Bhagavad Gita, it kind of describes something to the effect of Sakama Karma Yoga. And then in chapter 5, action in Krishna consciousness, Karma Yoga, you could say in one sense it's called Niskam Karma Yoga, which is there for devotees on the platform of relativity of the consciousness within the material nature, coming into Krishna conscious activities with that material consciousness. Yeah. So therefore, to give a simple example, somebody may be very attached to deity worship. Like making garlands, cooking for the Lord, doing arti, and so forth. See? So the attachment is to serve in a particular service. Is to serve in a particular service. So if you tell this cook, who's cooking the Rajbhog offering, look, we have somebody else to cook the Rajbhog offering who's attached to cooking. Can you cook the prasad for the devotees in the regular devotee kitchen? No. I'm attached to Rajbhog cooking. See? So we become attached to a particular service. But we are not ready to sacrifice to become attached to serving. I'm repeating. We become attached to a particular service, but we are not attached to the general consciousness internally of serving. See, it's a higher level. Just like to give you another example. It's December, book distribution marathon. Everyone's attached to distributing books, even if they're not attached normally in the rest of the year. But the fever is there. Right. Then, the temple president comes to you and says, look, Prabhu, you can't really go out and distribute books today. Why? Now, you see, this whole foyer has to be decorated because the sheriff of Mumbai is coming. Or the police commissioner is coming. No, Prabhu, I want to distribute books. So you're attached to a particular service of distributing books, but you're not attached to serving. There's a slight difference. So when you're attached to a particular service, you enjoy. You enjoy, yes. It's like I'll give you my own attachment. I'm very, very, very attached to studying and reading Prabhupada's books. And sometimes I will sit at my desk and I'll be there for maybe up sometimes 7-8 hours, and then suddenly somebody knocks the door and then I realize, oh, my neck is paining. Because I'm attached to that. See? So if somebody tells me, Maharaj, can you take the broom and sweep? Arey, Mama, I'm studying Prabhupada's books. Why are you telling me to sweep the floor? You understand? I'm attached to studying, but I'm not attached to sweep the floor, because that is also service. It is also service. So it is okay to be attached to a particular service, because it's better than being attached materially anyway. See? But we should be attached to serving. Being attached to a particular service may have a sense of enjoying. See? So one time, one disciple was attached to a particular service, painting pictures for the BBT books, like that. See? And they came with that kind of, you could say, adhikar, or qualification. They went to some art school and they had some affinity to paint. They have that nature. I like to paint for Krishna. Prabhupada says, okay, paint. See? You know, Prabhupada uses that term, Nirmanda Krishna Sambandhi Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. But there's something higher than that. Yeah. That, you dovetail your propensity or nature to do a particular service. See? Yeah. But when Prabhupada asked that very same disciple, look, you like to paint for Krishna. See? See? Can you clean the floor, in front of my room? Yes, Prabhupada, I will clean. Yes, I will clean. Who is asking? Who is asking? Srila Prabhupada. So that consciousness of such an exalted personality was second to none. And nobody can be equal or replace also. That kind of person, when he tells something to his disciple, they are fully surrendered for any service. Any service. Even if some service attached to, I will do. Okay. So later on, Srila Prabhupada sent the temple commander to the same devotee. See? And the temple commander told, I know you're painting, for the BBT books. Can you come and clean the temple room? No. Prabhupada wants me to do this. I cannot clean the temple room. But not saying I don't like to sweep. You understand? Yeah. So there are two features here. One is that the person who's giving you the service, that changes the service, you see them on the absolute platform, because all service is absolute for Prabhupada. And you get that consciousness. But when the same devotee saw the temple commander, no, all service is not absolute. My service is more important in painting than cleaning the floor. Same thing. They see in different consciousness. See? But Prabhupada tested. Srila Prabhupada tested. So Prabhupada called that devotee. And then the devotee said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. He said, when I asked you to clean and leave your painting, you did. But when the temple commander asked you to clean and leave your painting, you did not. Why? Why? Like that. See? So then the devotee said, Srila Prabhupada, whatever you say, we'll do. So you mean to say, whatever my representative, the temple commander says, you will not do? See? Then Srila Prabhupada made that point, that the temple commander, he lives with you every day. I don't live with you every day. So you should have a better relationship with someone you live with every day, based on devotional service. Isn't it? It's like that. Then Srila Prabhupada said, it doesn't mean that you don't have a relationship with me, you do have. See? But don't only see me as absolute in whatever service I give you. You should see that all service is absolute. That's when we come to the point of serving and not enjoying. See? So then Srila Prabhupada made the point that in the material world, a professor or someone who has a PhD, that person is good in that particular field of expertise, in that particular field of research. Say it may be physics or chemistry or psychology. They are expert only in that particular field. Then Srila Prabhupada said that is the material definition of expert. That expert means you are good at one particular thing. Yeah. Then Srila Prabhupada said expert in Krishna consciousness means to do the needful. To do the needful. And then Srila Prabhupada gave an example. There's many parts to one whole, W-H-O-L-E. So if one part is not fitting nicely, you cannot have an healthy, wholesome community of devotees. So everyone must play their part. And if one part is not healthy, then somebody has to do the needful to do that part to make it healthy, even if it is not their nature. Yeah. And then Srila Prabhupada said, that is called yajna, that is called sacrifice. So sacrifice means to do something that you're not inclined to do, but it's doing the needful that will fit the part into the whole to make it healthy. So in the summer of 1967 in New York City, one of Srila Prabhupada's early disciples, she was an artist too, she's still an artist, her name is Jadurani. Yeah. So at that time, Srila Prabhupada was not very strict with kind of dress code because he's just introducing Krishna consciousness in the Western world. So he was not very, very strict in terms of dress code for devotees because he's starting a movement. So you have to sacrifice to break a lesser rule for the higher rule and then eventually bring them to that highest rule of the culture of Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So Jadurani Mataji, she was painting in the temple for the Bhakti Brhat magazine in 26th Avenue. And at the time, they were not wearing really like sari, which was not easily available anyway in New York. They were buying like bed sheets, and tying themselves, with a sari. They didn't have anything like that. Okay, that's fine. So, in order to save whatever little money they had or no money, they bought a few bed sheets and dyed them yellow, even the saris, and started wearing them as saris. This is like, the movement was not even 1 year young at that time, in 1967 summer. Summer means, May, June, July, August, and that. So Jadurani, she was wearing what is called, in those terms, modern Western summer clothes. Now, modern Western summer clothes means they hardly wear anything on the body. It's like they wear shorts and girls, and t-shirts and so forth like that. So she was dressed like that and she was painting. See? So one of her godbrothers, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he saw this and he criticized her. And he said, what is this? This is uncultured. You cannot dress like this. You're in the temple. Like that. See? So she kept quiet. Because she was kind of senior to him. She joined before him. But what does he know? I joined before him. And sometimes amongst ourselves, what is I'm an old devotee. What do you know? Nothing. So when Srila Prabhupada came to 26th Avenue, our first stop from temple, Jadurani wanted to check with Srila Prabhupada that who was right. Like that. And Srila Prabhupada, being that kind of great personality, he just reconciled it without criticizing anyone. Amazingly. Amazing. So then Jadurani asked Srila Prabhupada, after explaining how she was criticized by the Godbrother, and they had less clothes to wear, there was no money, and things like that. So she asked Srila Prabhupada these words, Srila Prabhupada, that time Swamiji, Swamiji, is it all right for girls to wear shorts? Prabhupada could understand what she's saying. They wear like a short pants. Then Srila Prabhupada answered very, very gravely and seriously. And he said, the attraction is already there. Don't aggravate it. She perfectly understood. Then later on, Srila Prabhupada commented, you are what you eat, and you also are how you dress. Oh yes. Because everyone is affected by the bodily conception of life. Dovetail that bodily conception life towards Krishna. Prabhupada is simply making that point. So sometime later, Srila Prabhupada was sitting on his bed. And Jadurani was there. And then a few devotees were sitting on the floor at Srila Prabhupada's feet, lotus feet. So on the wall behind Srila Prabhupada was an Indian Brijbasi print of Draupadi praying with folded hands for Krishna to protect her from the vicious assembly who's trying to disrobe her. Duryodhana and Dushashan is trying to disrobe her. This picture is there. Like that. Then Srila Prabhupada pointed at the picture and he said, see, by nature, a woman is ashamed to be seen undressed. And then Srila Prabhupada said something. This is in 1967 in New York City, to the Western people. And Prabhupada continued, the woman should be so much covered that even the sun cannot see her. And then Srila Prabhupada said, but anyway, who can hide from the sun? Like that. And then Srila Prabhupada, they didn't understand what is Parsi community. You know Parsi? Yeah. And then Srila Prabhupada, he praised the woman of the Parsi community who was so covered that only their eyes showed. In other words, Srila Prabhupada was not speaking about the extreme. He was giving a principle. The principle is that the woman should be dressed in such a way as Srimati Radharani does in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that it brings out the affection and attraction for Krishna. That's the upper garments of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radha in his lower garments brings out a shyness for Krishna. See? So even if we have the enjoying spirit, that is fine. Sarvakamava. But still, Tivrana Bhakti Yogyana Yajata Purusham Param. So whether one is in a male body or female body, we should dress in such a way that Krishna is attracted to us. See? And we should dress in such a way that we are loyal and chaste, brings out the shyness for us in relationship to Radha Krishna. Not that we should take this consciousness of these cultured demons, not the uncultured ones, that they want to come to enjoy Krishna in the form of Mohini Murti. Do you have any comments or questions? What time will we start? Now it's 9 o'clock, right? What's the time now? He says that we can take some time. You have a hand up, you have a hand up. Let's go for you first. 3 hands are there. Give it to Ramrup, the microphone. Where's the microphone? If you don't want to ask questions also, you can just offer comments. That's welcome also.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Nice class. Guru Kripa Prabhu, once he told Prabhupada, I love you, but I don't like ISKCON. Then Prabhupada said, ISKCON is my body. So how you can say that? No, I don't like some of the devotees. I don't like Tamal Krishna, like he said like, okay, Prabhupada told, okay, you don't work under them anymore, you just work directly under me from now onwards. Because at the time Prabhupada was saying that I get headache thinking that how to finish Vrindavan temple, I am not getting any money. Then Guru Maharaj told Prabhupada, you don't worry, I will collect for you, you just write the books. Then he went to Japan and he collected all that money. So sometimes Prabhupada he allowed it.
Not sometimes, all the time. You're saying sometimes, I'm saying more than sometimes. Yes, I'm complimenting what you're saying. All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, I can give more examples like what you said. You want to hear more examples of what he said? Yeah. Just to complement what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, these were great generals. Great generals. That time Guru Kripa Swami, Tamal Krishna Goswami, Hansadutta Swami, Kirtananda Swami. These were great generals in Prabhupada's army. They did so much of service. Yeah. One time His Holiness Giriraj Swami told me, after, you could say, I had a previous guru, Bhagavan Das Goswami, he was that time. Now he's Bhagavan Prabhu. So His Holiness Giriraj Swami told me one time, after my previous initiating guru left, he said that even if I take birth a few lifetimes, I will never match the service that Bhagavan Prabhu did. Maybe out of his humility saying, but he made a point to me. So Prabhupada had two big generals, many generals, but in particular with this particular anecdote. One was Hansadutta Swami and the other was Kirtanananda Swami. See? So Hansadutta Swami was preaching vigorously in India. Especially he sort of challenged one PhD professor in Sri Lanka. There's a conversation like that. He challenged him and defeated the scientist, Professor Hansadutta Swami. And he wasn't even a scientist. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada made a kind of ruling at that time that all my sannyasis and GBC secretaries should travel with me and spend at least 1 month for further training. See? So it was Hansadutta Swami's time to be with Prabhupada for 1 month as his personal secretary and traveling assistant, besides the personal cook and so forth. So, Srila Prabhupada knew very well that Hansadutta Swami and Kirtananda Swami was not like, Easter Gosti. They were always Musti Gosti. And these are two big generals. They were fighting like anything, including in front of Srila Prabhupada. They will argue like that. So then, you could say in one sense, Hansadutta Swami at that time was very, very favorable with Indians in India. Very favorable. Okay. Kirtananda Swami had a little bit reservations about the Indians in India. So they had this clash. Big time clash. See? Now Srila Prabhupada is Indian but not Indian. So he didn't get involved in the consciousness of Kirtananda Swami. Neither did he get involved in the consciousness of Hansadutta Swami. He never took sides. Now Prabhupada is so expert. You can't get anywhere. It's difficult. It's very, amazing. So Kirtananda Swami wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada while Hansadutta Swami was Prabhupada's traveling secretary with him for that 1 month. So, as soon as Hansadutta Swami, amongst other letters that Srila Prabhupada received, because it's a secretary's duty to open all the letters, not read them, and keep it ready for Prabhupada to read. Open the envelopes and keep the envelopes aside and, let it read. So, Hansadutta Swami saw that one letter came from Kirtananda Swami, because addressed to Prabhupada from Kirtananda Swami. So he didn't open that letter. And Prabhupada said, any other letters? Yes, Srila Prabhupada, there's one letter here from Kirtananda Swami. Prabhupada said, bring that first to me. He knew what the relationship was. So Hansadutta Swami reluctantly opened the letter. He said, do it with enthusiasm. So he opened the letter and he brought to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada read the letter. Prabhupada gave it to Hansadutta Swami. He said, now you reply, I will sign. What? But Srila Prabhupada, you know our relationship. Yes, I know that very well. You reply, I sign. Like that. So he said, but Srila Prabhupada, it'll take me a few days. No, you write as if I am writing. Now. Amazing. Srila Prabhupada, amazing. So Hansadutta Swami is writing a reply to Kirtananda Swami in the consciousness, as best as he can, in the consciousness of Srila Prabhupada. Amazing. So he wrote this reply. Srila Prabhupada said, put it on my table. So Hansadutta Swami is waiting. Srila Prabhupada, aren't you going to read what I wrote? I know that. I know what you wrote. So Hansadutta Swami, this person is like Trikalagya. While I am writing, he can see what I am writing. So Prabhupada said, did you write like this, like this, like this? Oh, yes, Prabhupada. Prabhupada didn't even look at the letter. He signed, send. Send. So years later, after Srila Prabhupada, of course Srila Prabhupada is still with us, he left the planet, so to speak. And Then years later, when Ansadutta sort of like, wasn't a sannyasi again, that type of thing. So he was meeting Kirtanananda Swami. He said, you remember that letter Prabhupada replied to you, dated so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so? I said, yes. He said, how was that reply? He said, super perfect. I received many letters from Prabhupada, but this one particular letter, it reconciled everything I had problem with in my consciousness. Super letter. Oh. So Hansadutta said, I wrote that reply. What? You? Yes, I wrote that reply. And I became so purified after writing that reply that all my animosity towards you disappeared. So then Kirtanananda Swami said, no wonder after you finished your tenure of 1 month with Prabhupada, when you saw me again, you were like kind of liking me. I was wondering why. This is Srila. He had to deal with, like very powerful generals, very, very powerful in their own right. And they'll do anything to please Prabhupada. See? But at the same time, they know that, we were very like raw, raw, R-A-W. We were not like refined and cultured and so. They knew that. But what to do? They said, we simply loved and to serve. Whatever Srila Prabhupada, we simply loved to serve. That Guru Nistha is so fixed at that time. So I just thought I'll say this to compliment what you say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One more question I have. In this pastime, demons, they work very hard.
Yeah,
and demigods also, they work very hard.
Yes.
Parishram. Anyway, demons did not get any amrita or anything. But demigods got. But we see that Amrit, that means they cannot die for a long, long time. But
they do die eventually.
Yeah, for a long, long time they cannot die. But how they used to get defeated by Ravanasura? Because they don't die, so how it is possible for Ravanasura and other demons to defeat demigods and chase them away from the...
Right. Can I humbly request you to answer your own question? Yes, come on.
I'm just asking you.
No, you also can tell us.
I feel that it's useless to drink Amrit, first of all, because anyway, and I feel that it's all Krishna's arrangement.
Yes, you gave 2 answers so far. It's useless to drink the nectar of immortality within this world, because it's not eternal life. And secondly, it's Krishna's arrangement. Perfect answers to your own question. Thank you.
I just want to hear from you. What is your...
Maybe later. Next question. How many minutes do we have?
Hare Krishna.
1 second. Let's keep the balance. Does any Mataji have any question? Any girls, Vaishnavis have any question? Don't say we didn't ask you. No question. Okay. We'll take last question because, Mahaprasade Govinde. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for the class. You're talking about being expert in doing the needful.
Means to do the needful, yeah.
So, but
that requires sacrifice. It requires sacrifice. Or doing something you're not inclined to do. It requires that sacrifice. That is yajna.
So, different devotees may have different understanding of what is needful. So
that's not the issue. Doing the needful means you can very easily understand what is the needful. If you see one piece of paper on the ground and you ignore it, that's not doing the needful. You should pick it up. It takes 2 seconds. See? So doing the needful indicates that, there is like a person that's responsible to make sure all the parts fit the whole. And he'll explain to you, look, if this part is not right, the whole will not function. Can you do the needful? So there's no question of interpretation. There's a question of doing the needful. So you're saying different people have different interpretations. That's not understanding doing the needful. Anyone can understand what is the needful. See? Just like Prabhupada says, one example of doing the needful. It's an amazing example. Amazing. So one pujari was doing arti. There was no one in the temple room. It's like Raj Bhoga arti in the midday. So one aristocratic, very cultured Indian gentleman walked into the temple. And he was observing the arti, he was very impressed and he wants to do some service. But nobody is there. Nobody is there. The pujari is enjoying doing the arti. But nobody is there to attend to this gentleman. So a few months later, he met Srila Prabhupada. And he said, Swamiji, I came to your temple. I see that in the Western world, I was on business here, I'm back in India. I came to your temple and I saw it's such an amazing thing, you're doing to spread Sanatana Dharma all over the world. So Prabhupada was very impressed with him. Then Prabhupada asked him one question. Did you get any prasadam? Did somebody give you some prasadam when you came to my temple? Yeah. He said, Swamiji, I didn't want to say it, but this is greatly lacking. That they don't know how to take care of guests. Okay. So Prabhupada asked the question. He asked him, he said, really? Yes, I came. I want to do some service. Nobody asked me anything. He said, when you went to the temple, who was there? He said, no, there was this one pujari. He was doing the arti. He saw me. I saw him. He put some water on my head. He left the ghee lamp. I took it. I know what to do. And I take some mercy from the Lord's arti. But there was nobody else there. Nobody attended to me. So Srila Prabhupada called his secretary. He said, track this down. Track it down to who's the pujari who was doing that arti at that time. This man went into the temple. Nobody attended. Track this down and call that pujari on the phone. So they tracked the pujari down. And he came on the phone. Prabhupada wants to speak in front of the man. Prabhupada wants to speak to you. So Prabhupada asked him a question. Do you remember such and such time a gentleman came and you were doing the arti and what happened? He said, yes, Prabhupada, I was so busy doing the arti, there was no one to attend to the man, but I gave him, some flower and so forth. Yeah. Prabhupada said, you should have stopped the arti. Stop doing the arti. Come down. And you receive the gentleman. And then you give him some Mahaprasad. And talk to him. And take his details down. And he's sitting in front of me now. And Prabhupada said, that is the Sankirtan movement. Our first order is to preach. Our first order is to take care of people. After so many millions of lifetimes, he's walking into our temple. His whole life he was walking to this temple, that temple, that temple. Nothing happened to him. He walked in our temple after so many millions of lifetimes. And you neglected him? On the other side, this Pujari was shivering. He couldn't put the phone down. He was explaining. Yeah. Prabhupada said, are you there? You getting it? That's doing the needful. That is doing the needful. We have to break all lesser rules for the highest rule. Is to bring people to Krishna. Don't neglect them. And Prabhupada says, that distinguishes us from every other spiritual organization. Then he added, including the Gaudiya Math. See? So that is one little example of doing the needful. Not all the time. So if you break a lesser rule for a higher rule. Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes. So when I mentioned doing the needful, maybe your consciousness was other things, also. I gave some examples like Sheriff of Mumbai is coming, clean here. But he's also doing the needful. He's in the epistemology of what is the most important in Prabhupada's instructions and mission and mood, that takes precedence, and then you can break a lesser rule for a higher rule. But not always breaking the rule. Sometimes for the lesser rule, for the higher rule. So that's one example of doing the needful. Otherwise, everything, if our consciousness is not imbued with 6 words, Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna, spread Hare Krishna. 6 words. Prabhupada said this defines the activity of a devotee, the activity of ISKCON, and everything. Chant Hare Krishna, spread Hare Krishna. This defines our activities. Like that. If we do not have that kind of goal on the top, to be Krishna conscious and spread Krishna consciousness, then everything can simply become ritualistic, monotonous, and routine. That's all. So doing the needful means also breaking a lesser rule for the highest rule. Chant Hare Krishna, spread Hare Krishna. Are we all right? But we don't have that problem here. While the arti is going on, you have many devotees to take care of, guess. I'm just giving that example at that point. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vranda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bom.